So here I am with my 2+2. I want to change the bungees on it, so this is the way I went about it. I've got the tail up on a sawhorse for stabilization and leveling. I've got a support underneath the left wing, because that's the one I've got jacked up at the moment. So that there is just a support, precaution. The main lift point is here on the engine mount. Got to come along up to a big beam, and I've even got a secondary support on that beam just to be sure. And over here on the other side, I got a big heavy steel piece roped to the lift struts. So this is extra ballast to hold this wing down. The other one's being held up and it's jacked up. So I'm trying to be as safe as I can here. So what are we talking about? We're talking about taking off this piece right here. Got to undo that bolt, and up underneath here I've got to undo another bolt in here, and then we can take it out. So the bolt in question and this rod in question is that one. That's the first one I'm going to do. And then when you get it all apart, you got to get the bungees off, cut those off and put a new set on. So this is what these bungee things look like on the inside. Take the cover off. Tube slides in a tube. Got the covers and the end pieces. Keep out the grease and whatnot. So it's just two, as you can see, it's just two pieces of continuous bungee wrapped around two different ends of the structure. And to get them off, just cut them with a knife, nothing much else you can do. And then I'll take another video here in a while when I'm ready to start putting the first one on. Okay, so this is the next step. You need a special tool like this. It's got a hook on this end that fits over the other end. It looks like that. There's a hook there. Well, you can see it. It clips up in here. And then the other end of this bungee that continues around the other two hooks catches on the top of this. And that is driven by a large threaded rod and a nut. And it's hard to tell here, but on the length of my hand, it's got to move a good 6 or 7 inches before you can stretch that bungee over to here. And it looks easier than it is. These bungees are rated for something like 900 pounds. So takes quite a bit of torque and force to push that thing on. So what will happen is that bungee will slide all the way down to here, and when you get it out to here with this end, even with this, you can then force it down and it'll snap down into place. And then of course when that's done, you've got to add a second one. So there's two of them, and the second one's a little trickier than the first because it's harder to get it on here, because you've got to work against the first bungee cord in your way. So you're trying to get the tool onto this point is one of the hardest parts when you get the second bungee on there. Anyway, I'll go ahead and start and show you what it looks like later. Okay, so there's the first one on, and you can see the threads have been run all the way up to the top. Tool's all the way up to the top, and the bungee that was being pushed here pops down around the top, around that, and goes snaps into place on there. And if you take this off, you can see there's a hook in there, and it fits on top of that groove. Not that great with the camera here at the moment, but that's the way she goes. All right, got to wind that back the other way and start over with the second one. So here's a brand new one. It's white tag. See the part number there. This is a 1280 HD, which means 3/4 by 80 inches long, or 80 millimeters. I'm not sure which. So another thing you need to mention about these things is this is a fabric weave around a bungee cord, and they don't slip all that well. So in order to get them to slip on there, you should use some wax. I happen to have some Mother's Carnauba wax. This is alright. First time I did this, I used a lot of soap, but I read online somebody else was recommended wax. I happen to have a bit of wax left, so I'm using that today. And you just take it and rub it on the whole surface so that it slips and slides over top of these metal parts, out and around the end of this push on tool, and even slides on and over top of the original, the first bungee that's on there. So needs to be a lot of slip sliding away here for it to work properly.